Hi, my name is Courtney Harding, and I'm an expert in using virtual reality and artificial intelligence to create great training that really scales. Today, I want to talk about what works and what doesn't when you're creating this type of training. Almost everything is a good fit for this, but there are a few things that aren't, and there are a few things that work really well. So we'll go over that today. The first is hands-on hard skills training. This works incredibly well in virtual reality. People get to practice and practice as much as they want in a safe environment where they don't have to worry about breaking equipment, making mistakes. They can just practice as much as they need to, and it's really realistic. So if you're doing any sort of hard skills training, it's a fantastic solution. Critical human skills that are conversational in nature, and this is where artificial intelligence and VR really shine together. So think of all the human emotions that you need to be able to process as a manager. You need to be able to have these conversations, remain calm in these conversations, and make sure these conversations are productive. And most people who are managers aren't actually trained to be managers. They became managers because they were good at their jobs and they got promoted. So this is a great way to help your managers get better at the work that they do, get better at giving feedback, having those difficult conversations, and do it in a way that's contextual and personalized. It's really easy to create AI-powered virtual human avatars and let people put on a headset and have conversations with them. And the great thing, because it's powered by ChatGPT, every conversation will be different, and it's very easy to set the parameters of a conversation. So this is, I think, one of the best use cases for this technology, and will continue to be a huge use case going forward. Critical human skills about empathy. It's very hard for somebody to understand what it's like to live someone else's life and to walk a mile in their shoes unless they can actually feel like they're living that experience. And virtual reality allows you to do that. You put on a headset, you come as yourself, but you spend a little bit of time looking at the world through someone else's point of view. And that's incredibly powerful. And you want to make sure you have that for organizations that are welcoming to all. Critical human skills with emotional intelligence. Again, understanding people's body language, understanding people's reactions, practicing in a safe space what it's like to give that honest feedback and have somebody get upset, right? You want your managers to be emotionally intelligent. That's one of the biggest reasons people leave companies is because of their managers. So if you're concerned about talent retention, definitely want to make sure you have that. And then training for situations that are dangerous, impossible, counterproductive, and or expensive. Obviously, dangerous situations, it lowers the cost dramatically. It also lowers the risk dramatically. Situations that are impossible. So these are black swan events, once in a lifetime events, but they are so high pressure and so critical to get right that you need to make sure people are absolutely trained just in case they happen. Counterproductive. Sometimes you want people to see how things get done incorrectly so they learn. You don't want to do that in real life, but it's great to do it in VR because, again, if they break something, something goes wrong, just hit the restart button and you're there. And expensive. Obviously, you don't want to spend tons of money on this. You don't want equipment getting broken. You don't want to be, if you're an airline, taking your planes out of the sky for people to train on. So these are all things that work incredibly well in this type of training. Things that don't work as well. Things that are just computer skills, right? Using Excel, using PowerPoint, using Microsoft Word, all of those things just train someone on a computer. It's just easier that way. Training for things that are super simple. It's not terrible to do this, but you don't really need this level of immersion and this level of training if it's for things that are really, really basic. And training on things that are just rote. So if you're training people on conversations where they have to think on their feet, where they have to kind of act in the moment, that's a fantastic use case. If you're just training somebody to do like an intake form where they're just reading off the form and asking the questions that are right in front of them, again, it's not the worst thing on earth, but it's not a good use of your time and resources to do that. So those are just some tips on what works and what doesn't. The next thing we're going to do is dive into how exactly to start thinking about building this piece from scratch.